Our first speaker is Karan. Karan, yeah. While you're setting up, I'll introduce Karan. He is the developer relations from GitHub. I don't think anybody knows what GitHub is all about.
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing the cap. Helps prevent the shine as well.
And he was an avid coder. Wait, did I say was? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I was.
An avid coder. Now, as you grow senior, you always have your assistants. So he's going to actually talk to us about how to use an AI assistant and work in Rails. Over to you, Karan.
Thanks a lot, Gautam. Wow, that's a lot to follow after Gautam's and Josh, pun unintended. Anyway, hello everyone, and it's great to be a part of RubyCon for such a long time. Anyway, even after the introduction, a quick mandatory introduction. I'm Karan, and I know I'd mentioned this very, very poor joke last time. If you see that photo, that's me. Okay. Last time people were like, "Oh, this person, this." Yes, I'm that person. Anyway, so I take care of international developer relations at GitHub, basically helping developers and open source ecosystem across India, Latin America, and some of the other regions. So you can connect with me on MV Karan. Also, it's not just me, but we also have a co-presenter. Where please welcome my co-presenter, Copilot. So GitHub Copilot will be my co-presenter for today. Trust me, this is as many slides as I have because you're going to be diving completely into the demo. But before that, in case you haven't heard about GitHub Copilot, it's going to be my AI pair programmer for today, as well as for a long time to come, for all of you all as well. And what GitHub Copilot is yes, an AI pair programmer. And what it's going to do, essentially, in a very, very small nutshell, is it's going to help you within your IDE, whichever you are using. Take the context of whatever you are doing, run it through OpenAI Codex model, and then give back some of the suggestions once it's enabled. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do today, of building a complete Rails app from scratch. A simple one, of course, not a lot, almost from a Rails new, and see if my co-presenter is going to help with it. Now comes the scary part, a live demo, a complete 20 minutes of live demo, where a whole lot of things can go wrong. The internet can go wrong, the power can go wrong, there could be a calamity, there could be whatnot happening. But let's calm down, let's try it out. All right, oops. Oh, wow, okay, thank you. I thought you were sending me off stage. All right. Can you see my screen? Okay. Okay, so you can see I have absolutely nothing. I like to say this as, like clean hands magician, there's nothing over here and let's try to build something. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is build a really, really small, simple app to showcase all of the nice octocats of GitHub on a very small web page, okay? Basically to show you something around the models, as well as the views, as well as the controller. Now, I want to just give a very, very quick disclaimer, okay? This stunt is not being performed by professionals under any supervision, so feel free to try at home. I don't know why I stumbled. Okay, so I have a code space that's running over here. But before that, how many of you all like coding with music? I'm surprised that others are not. For me, it's very, very, something that's needed. So I came across this really nice tool called as SoundRaw, which can actually generate music with AI. And I've just selected some mood and length and tempo and things like that. So let's have this going slowly in the background and then enjoy some music and then also code along the way. So I hope this doesn't blast your ears. Can I get the sound, please? All right, while it's playing, I'm gonna get back to my Visual Studio, and I'm gonna start with Copilot Chat. All right, so Copilot Chat, I can use natural language suggestions over there. to really help me with everything, okay? So please follow along the Copilot chat, follow along my terminal, and follow along the code section over there. Okay, so let's start off. The first thing, how do you start, or rather, how do you initialize a new Rails project in existing directory, and use Tailwind for CSS. Okay. It's going to take a few seconds. I hope the internet is working. That's something that gives a trouble every now and then. Okay, it's working. Great, so you need to use a Rails command and gives me a bunch of options. I'm gonna probably just go with Rails new dot skip bundle. No, I need bundle. At least that much of Ruby I know in this example. So I'm gonna just say skip git and use Tailwind for CSS. All right, so override, yes, please go ahead and override, and it's gonna create everything that's needed, starting from Rails new. And I'm gonna try and assume as much as possible, even though I love Ruby and Rails, that I don't know Ruby and Rails, and gonna ask Copilot to help me with a few things to see what it's gonna tell me. So there are a few things. However, one thing that I know is when you're using Tailwind with Rails 7, it's going to come with a dev server that will help bundle everything and then also start your development Rails server. So I'm going to just start that using /bin/dev, which is going to start up on my port 3000. And I'm going to just go back. And I don't know why this is not playing still. The audio still doesn't seem to be there, but all right. So I'm going to open up 3000, and okay, well enough, there is Rails. So I think the next thing that I'd want to do is probably create a new controller. So I'm going to say generate new Rails controller named awesome home controller with an index action. All right. And let's see what it says. Okay, so this is what I need to use. I'm gonna stop my server right now, quickly grab this command, and generate the controller. All right, my home controller is there, and I'm gonna say set home controller index action as the root path. I don't know how to do that. So let's see what it says. Okay, I need to go to config/routes and then set the root. So I'm gonna go to config and routes, and then here it is. So I'm gonna say, so this is Copilot's autocomplete, and you can see it already suggests me that root home index, and along with a bunch of things. I'm gonna accept that suggestion, and then I'm gonna say, oh, okay, I don't need this. All right, great, and I'm gonna save this, that's it. And let's see what's there in the view file for this. So going back into the app, and the views, and there it is. So it just says home/index. So let's run this again, and then make sure that it comes up. So refresh, and there it is. All right, now one of the things you can see here is that, well, this is not exactly a complete HTML, but let's make it into a complete HTML so we'll have some more things to do it. So what I've done is I've highlighted the context over there, and I'm gonna say Copilot chat, make this into a complete, proper HTML doc. And it gives me all the necessary tags, and I'm just gonna use this button to insert this at the cursor and bring in everything, okay? Great, all right, so I have basic functioning view. Now what I would want is a neat little navbar actually to show this as Octodex. So I really like this flow byte, which does and gives you all of some of the pre-configured Tailwind components. So I'm gonna just grab this component, and I'm gonna remove the whole of the div and bring this back here. All right, So saved it with a live reload and going to go back and then see, and there it is. Now I don't need the home about services and all of that because it's a very simple thing that I'm doing over here. So let's get rid of all of those things. So I don't really want to spend time, so I'm going to say remove all items, or I'm going to say remove all menu items from the navbar. All right, and because I've selected the context, it tells me what needs to be done. And well, it gives me a whole new generated code as well, which does whatever is needed. So because I've already selected, I'm just gonna insert this back at the cursor. Not gonna bother to look at it. We'll save, rebuild, and refresh, and there it is. Okay, now I think the next thing I'd have to do is rename, or replace the icon as well as change the name. I already have the GitHub logo over here. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna first select all of this nav over here, and then say, replace the icon with this, and the title with my Octodex. All right. So it's gonna again, replace the image and everything else. Give me a whole new nav tag as well for me to replace with. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this whole thing. All right. I didn't even take a look at where is the component or what I need to be doing. I just told Copilot, and then there it is. Okay, great. So all good so far. Now we actually need all of the images of the Octocats and everything to show. So I have an Atom feed over here, and what I'm going to do is grab that and then say, and I'm going to ask it using curl, download this file to say db/octocats.xml. Okay, I just want a curl command, and I'm going to stop the server over here, and there it is. So I'm going to grab that and paste it. It's downloaded and it's ready for me. Okay, now I have all of the data, but I think you'd have to create a model to save all of that, right? So what I'll ask it is create a new model named Octocat with fields. Just the name and the URL is enough for me to show for now, with name and URL. All right. So it knows the context. Just imagine it knows the context. I'm working in Rails, etc. Otherwise, it could have shared any other model. So here it is. It gives me the model. I'm gonna again bring back Rails, and it has generated the model for me. And it also says over here that, hey, you need to run the migration, Rails DB migrate. So I'm gonna just quickly do that as well. I'm gonna say Rails DB migrate for that to be created. All right, so my model is set up, the migration has been run, and it's ready. Now I want to seed this model with the data which is there in octocats.xml. So I'm gonna ask Copilot again, how to seed the Octocat model with, Octocat model from the data in db/octocats, that was wrong spelling, octocats.xml. All right, and it says, okay, and I have to use Nokogiri, and then I would have to do this in the Rails seed file. All right, so as a programmer, right, you would have to kind of use your judgment always. And say, for example, you don't know where the Rails DB is. You can DB seed is. You can ask that as well. But I'm guessing it's located in db/seeds. So I'm just going to go back over here, leave everything as it is, and insert this. All right. So here it is. So I have all of this that's ready. Now, most of you, of course, will hear that, hey, AI is going to take over, do everything for you, etc. But as a programmer, you would have to use your judgment to make sure that the code is right or wrong. All right. So let's go just take a look at what this XML file even has. And the first thing that I notice is that there is a namespace for this, right? Whereas in my seed, there is no namespace references for anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that namespace. So I'll just add a comment over here for Copilot to tell me, saying remove all namespaces. And it's going to give me an autocomplete suggestion that removes the namespaces. Okay, so next, where are my AutoCADs located? So there is an entry tag in each of it, and the title has the name, and the content has an HTML, so it's not just a URL. So again, there I use my judgment. For the title, it's fine, but for the URL, there's no link and href. I have to go into the content tag. So I'm just gonna remove all of this. Oops. I'm gonna remove all of this and then give one more prompt to Copilot saying, no, don't do that. I'm gonna say, get the content tag, parse it as HTML, and get the image source attribute as the URL. All right, let's see what it says. I'm going to accept the suggestion first. So it seems fine. So it's getting the content tag text and parsing it into HTML, and again finding the image tag within that and grabbing the source attribute. Seems fine to me logically. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this seed. And if I go back into Copilot chat, it also tells me that, okay, I can run this code by running Rails DB seed. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do Rails DB seed and see what happens over here. So it's taking a bit of a while, so maybe it's running fine. But let me again ask Copilot how to verify if AutoCAD model has some records that was seeded. I don't know why I wrote deseeded. Maybe I eat a lot of dates. Okay, so here it is. It tells me go to Rails console and do an AutoCAD.count. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna first quickly clear my screen so you can see it on the top. So I'm gonna do a Rails console and I'm gonna do AutoCAD.count, and nice. So I have all of the records which has come in over there. I'm just gonna do quickly an AutoCAD.first as well, and then see the name and URL is existing. Okay, great. So we have gotten all of our data seeded into the database, and now we need to just get them all into the view. So let me first come back over here, and if we go back, we see that this was what we had. Let's get a nice grid over there to showcase everything, right? So it'll be easier. And because we're using Tailwind, I'm gonna ask how to create a 4-column grid in Tailwind. All right, and let's see what it says. You can use blah, 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 blah. Okay, sounds good. I'm just gonna collapse this and insert all of this. And let me go back again. I don't think I have the server running, so let me just quickly get that up and running. And then see what comes up. So it's in development mode, and all right. And okay, fair enough. So all of those columns are in there. Now we need images to add over there, right? So again, I'm gonna grab just one more flow byte, which has an image and a image caption. So I'm just gonna grab this. And what I'll do is I'll remove all of the other divs because I just want to test with one of them instead of everything. And I'm gonna remove this, put back the figure, just make sure it's a bit readable and indented, save it, and then see. All right, and let's see what happens. Okay, there is no image over there, maybe because the source here doesn't exist. So let me just add my own image. And here is a quick tip for you. If you want to use your GitHub image anywhere as a PNG, you can just use your username and just say .png, and it's going to give you your avatar. So let me refresh, and okay, there it is. So now let me just make this into a grid. And what I'm going to say is I'm going to select this div, which is where everything is. And I'm going to ask Copilot, um, repeat this div 20 times using, I don't know what ERB is. For example, I'm just going to say using Rails templating. All right. And just to get an idea of how it's going to work, and then it says, as you all would know, 20 dot times 2. Oh, okay, that's fine with me. And I'm going to save it and get back, hit refresh, and there it is. All right, looks good. So now I'm going to say, I have everything in the model. So of course, the next thing is I want to get it into the controller and then pass it back into the view. Let's just say we are going to do something over there. So I'm just going to say how to fetch all the AutoCAD records in home controller and send it to the view. And let's see what it says. You can use the controller's index action and do it. Okay, sounds good. So what I'm going to do is I will open up my controller first, the home controller, and I'm going to just replace everything over here. So it has all of the AutoCAD's data. I'm going to come back over here, and then I'll just select. So this is what I would want to be replaced. So I'll say instead of 20 dot times, use at AutoCADs to iterate over every AutoCAD and show URL field as image source and name field for the name and title. All right, that's what I want, right? I want to fetch everything and then just replace that. So seems fine. So here you can see it uses AutoCAD URL, AutoCAD name, and then AutoCAD name, and then AutoCAD as title. Again, that's my discretion. So you see I as a programmer know there's no title field over there. So but still, I'm going to bring this over here. And what I'll do is I'm just going to remove this AutoCAD title because there's no title field. All right, and this is very important when it comes to the discretion. And you can see there is a rogue ERB tag there. All right, so I'm going to save this, go back, and then see what it says. And there it is. All of the images come up. Now let's do one final small optimization to make it look good. There's kind of like a ugly gray background over there. So what I'm going to do is I will come back, and here I can see that this has BG gray. So I'm going to remove that. And I'd want to add probably a border for the image. So I'll just select this image tag and then say add a light gray border to the image. All right, that's what I would want. So it says use the border utility of tailwinds. I'm not going to even look at what it is. I'll just replace that and save it, go back, and then let's see what we get. And yes, sure enough, there's a neat little border that comes in. But all of those text is really, really small. So let's make that a bit bigger. So I know this is the caption. It says caption. So I'm going to say increase the caption text size, make it bold, and make it black. So I'm going to select that. And oh, thank you, certainly. And it gives me the entire caption again. I'm going to use that and refresh, and I'm going to go back, and all right, much better. There's one final thing that I probably want, a couple of things. Let's make the background gray so that all of the images really stand out. So I'm going to go back over here and then say most probably to the body, entire one. I'm going to say add a background color. And well, I know that FF is white. So I'm just going to say something that's gray, maybe like background color to the body as FA, FP, FC. All right. So Hopefully it is gray. I'm not sure if any of you can confirm, but let's see. So that's the background color, save, hit refresh, and okay, I can see a light background over there, which is there. So let's do one final thing to optimize this, and that is let's add a small little shadow for this. So let's say add a very light gray shadow to this, all right? And let's see what it says. It gives me, you can say shadow SM class, so I'm gonna just insert that, save it, and get back. And yes, there is a very light gray shadow that's there, which is probably not even visible. And that's about it, you know. So if you just look back what we did in the past 20 minutes, we started with completely a blank slate with Rails new. All of you saw that. Just had the data in XML, and I just gave natural instructions to everything with Copilot chat and Copilot autocomplete, and built the entire thing, you know. Yes, I agree, it's probably a simple thing, but if this is possible in 20 minutes or so, you can really think about what all would be possible for you to just develop quickly. Of course, by using your right judgment with whatever AI is telling you, whatever Copilot and Copilot chat is telling you, so that you will be able to quickly create something with a basic structure that is there and up and running. So that's about it. The scary part is done. Thankfully, everything went on fine with the demo, and hope you got an understanding of how easy and how quickly you can get things going with AI. Thank you, everyone, and happy to chat with you. One final teaser. If you want any of those Octocats and stickers, find me. Thank you.
We'll take a few questions in the crowd. There you go. We have people run up. Please give the mic to them. And before you ask a question, I'd love to just get a quick name and intro, so it'll help you out.
I'm actually representing the Ruby Australia Organizing Committee, so it's a great pleasure to be here. My question is, how up-to-date does Copilot stay with regards Rails? So for example, I think we're like 704 now, yeah? So how does it stay up-to-date? And is it as fluent with what like 704 is as compared to say something like base MVC?
Right, OpenAI codex and also the Copilot chat. The underlying models, it depends on how up to date the underlying models is. So it doesn't go ahead and get you all of the latest data. So it doesn't act like a search engine, but helps you suggest whatever whatever data has been, whatever it has been trained on. I'll give an example. So when I was trying out, like a Rails new, it suggested me use Rails 6.1.4 or something, whereas it's all Rails 7. What I did now was all Rails 7. At least, of course, some of the basic things, they're not really big breaking changes. But for example, the Dash CSS Tailwind was, I believe, introduced in Rails 7, and a lot of it, worked really well. So I think some amount of context that is already available, plus the training data, gives very good results.
Okay, so Yogesh here from Golden Eagle. So I just need to know about like a security with Copilot. So you saying we are we are using OpenAI models. So are we sending our code to the OpenAI by API, or GitHub itself managing all the models?
So two key things that I want to call out when it comes to the security aspect is, one, none of the models are trained based on your data. That's something that folks frequently keep asking, saying that, hey, is all of the code that I enter be used back for training? That's absolutely not true. The second thing is whatever is the code that you're actually sending over is very, very ephemeral. So it's there only for the sake of generating that or getting the context for Copilot to generate it. And then after that, that data is deleted. We don't store it, no one else stores it. OpenAI Codex, of course, and when it comes to Copilot Chat, GPT-3, etc., are the underlying models which is being used by GitHub to generate all of this.
Okay, so everything managed by GitHub itself.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have time for one more question here.
So how do you see skill levels of developers in context of utilizing these tools best?
Yeah, great question. So, there is one blog post that we have put up on github.blog, wherein we did a research along with a company called Keystone, where one of the specific analysis was seeing how does Copilot Chat help with various skill levels of developers. And what we have seen is that people who are very, very new to development, they are a lot more productive with Copilot and Copilot Chat compared to the experienced devs. And I'm saying that that difference is also not much. So if I remember correctly, and you can go look at the complete paper, for a lot of new developers, the average productivity is around 32%. And for a whole lot of the skilled developers, it's somewhere around 28 or 29%. So not a whole lot of difference. And when I say productivity, it actually, we measure it based on the code acceptance. So whenever I was giving prompts, you saw that I was accepting some code and then inserting it into my IDE, whereas some of the parts of the code I was not accepting, right? So the code acceptance is what we're using as a metric for productivity.
Take one last question.
Hello, myself Sandeep from Nitor Infotech. My question is there any voice integration for this Copilot?
Any what integration, sorry?
Voice integration, voice command integration.
Voice integration, yes, yes. So a couple of things, what I showed you right now, there were two Copilots in that. One is the Copilot which was helping me within my IDE editor to do auto-completion, and then Copilot Chat where I was actually giving it specific prompts to provide me. So Copilot Chat is, one of the products of our newer vision called Copilot X, where the X is a variable, it can take multiple values. Sorry, X is an enum, where it can take multiple values. Copilot Chat is one of them, and then there is Copilot for PRs. Copilot Voice is also one of them. So if you go and look at GitHub Copilot Labs, it's one of the experimental features where we have Copilot Voice as well, where you can give it certain voice commands and then use it to even develop on the editor. And the main reason behind Copilot was to help people be a lot more accessible while developing. People who might find it difficult to type because of some reasons or look at the screen, etc., and rather use voice. But it's definitely available. You can go check it out on githubnext.com. It involves a whole lot of projects, including Copilot Voice.
We've got a lot of questions coming up. All right, let's take one more interesting topic.
Hey, hello, Karan.
Sorry, I can't see you. Oh, yeah.
So I'm Akshay from Macari. My question is, what is the licensing story here? Right? The code is trained on OpenAPI. What guarantees that the code is with correct license? And if there is an liability, how does the Copilot handles it?
Right. So there are a couple of things. In fact, there is one specific feature within Copilot that's there for individuals, and it didn't come up in my demo, but sometimes it does if you turn it on. You have an option to, for Copilot to block any suggestions that match any of the public code. So it gives you an example. So there is a certain algorithm that is also explained based on, I think, 150 characters or so, excluding white spaces, etc. If it matches public code, you can automatically block it, or it can even give you, a small little pop-up, in the editor saying that, hey, there was some public code, detected when you were writing, which was a match. So you can use some of those fine-grained controls which are there for you to make a decision to see whether this is something that is needed or not. Is it something that's easy and trivial for me to use or not?
So I know there will be a lot of other questions and doubts. Towards the second half of the day, we are going to have a panel discussion about the role of AI in an engineer's life. The panel discussion is he's going to be one of the panelists along with 4 other people. So we're going to have some interesting discussions. I'd love to have more questions about Copilot also during that time. So please give a loud round of applause to Karan.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for being a good audience, and well, thank you. Thanks, Gautam.
Thank you.